Welcome back, boys and girls. Those of you that had listened to the first video and if you didn't listen to the first video and you want an explanation of what you're supposed to do with these graphic organizers, go back up to the very first slide and click on the length of the first YouTube video. I've gone over character traits and motivations with you and told you what you're supposed to do with those slides. So I'm going to start right here. I hope you enjoyed the video of Midas's touch. I thought that was a great story. So here is, after Midas's touch, you have another shield, character traits shield, where you're going to use for the next story I read you guys. I think it's Echo and, Echo and Narcissus. You can use a character to fill out the same shield. Pick a character. What are they feeling? What are their actions? What are they doing? What are they saying? What are they thinking? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and read you guys this next one. I hope you guys, that me reading these texts to you is making it easier for you to understand. Some of the texts are a little bit higher lexile level, which means they're just a higher grade level in reading. Some of the vocabulary, just like in benchmark. When we would read benchmark text, you would have either Miss Nunn, Miss Pierre, myself, Miss Gonzalez, or Miss Reagan there to help you guys with the vocabulary. So I thought this little video would help you guys with some of the vocabulary. All right, so here we go. Echo and Narcissus. Echo was a sea maiden who talked too much. She was very fond of having the last word. One day, this bad habit got her in trouble with Zeus. Remember, guys, Zeus is like the king of gods, right? King of God, thunder, stuff like that. So he's the king of gods. He's like the big god. She insisted on having the last word, which offended Zeus, which means he didn't like it and made him mad. Thus, Zeus made a proclamation. Since Echo loved having the last word, from that day forward, her voice would be only able to repeat the last words of others. So in this paragraph, he made a proclamation, which he basically put a curse or a spell kind of thing. He kind of used magic, and he said, okay, from now on, when you have the last word, your last words will always be repeating the last words of the people you hear. So think about it. What is an echo? If you go out into a cliffside and you yell echo, you're going to hear echo, echo, echo. Eh? This proclamation devastated Echo, so it made her terribly upset. I think we saw the word devastated in the last story. She felt the punishment equaled Zeus having turned her into a parrot. Ashamed means embarrassed, she hid herself in the forest. During this time, a young man named Narcissus came into the forest. He had hair as yellow as gold and eyes as blue as the sky. He was hunting near where Echo was hiding. Shyly peeking out from behind the tree, Echo watched Narcissus. She began admiring him very much. One day, Narcissus became separated from his friends, so he lost his friends. He heard something rustling among the leaves, and he called out, "Who's there?" "There," answered Echo. "Who is that?" asked Narcissus. "Who is that?" repeated Echo. As she spoke, she came out from among the trees. When Narcissus saw this stranger instead of his friends that he was expecting, a look of surprise struck his face. Then he walked quickly away with no thought of Echo's feelings. So, I want you guys to be aware in that paragraph 2, where it says that Echo watched Narcissus and she began admiring him very much. When somebody back then, when they said that they admired somebody, it was they were having strong feelings for them. So she was starting to care for him, almost basically kind of love him, okay? So now he walked away without thinking of Echo's feelings. So this hurt Echo. She decided to never come out of hiding nor allow herself to be seen again by Narcissus or anyone else. In time, she faded away until she became only a voice. This voice was heard for many, many years in forests, among mountains, and particularly in caves. In their solitary walks, solitary meaning alone, people walking alone. Hunters often heard it. Sometimes it mocked the barking of their dogs. Mocked is usually when you hear somebody mock somebody. It's like if I were to say, go clean your room, you would say, go clean your room. Mocking means repeating, kind of making fun of. It mocked the barking of their dogs. Sometimes it repeated their own last words. Often the sound is strange and mournful, mournful meaning sad. It seems to make the forest feel lonely. Now, forests can't have feelings, right? So this is kind of a way that the author is letting you know that it makes the forest just feel empty, like you're alone, okay? Because he could not think of himself, Narcissus never became aware of Echo's. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me restart that. Because he could only think of himself, Narcissus never became aware of Echo's love. Instead, he became obsessed about the loss of his twin sister, whom he loved more than anyone else in the world. This sister died as a young and very beautiful girl. Narcissus was sad because he missed her so very much. One day, while Narcissus was looking into a pond and thinking of his sister, he saw a face. This face seemed to be staring back at him and looked a lot like his sister. Narcissus thought his sister had become a water maiden. Of course, the face Narcissus saw was really the reflection of his own face in the water, but he did not know that. In those days, clear mirrors did not exist like the modern mirrors we have now, so he didn't know it was a reflection, okay, like we see in mirrors. Therefore, his reflection appeared blurry. Narcissus leaned over the water and glanced at the beautiful face that looked so much like his twin sister. He wondered whether he would ever see his sister again. Once Narcissus thought he saw his sister in the water, he came back to the pond day after day. So he came every single day. He would look at the reflection for hours. He mourned for his sister, so he wanted her. He grieved her. He wanted her back. He was sad. At last, the gods felt sorry for him and changed Narcissus into a flower. To this day, his flower can be seen every spring growing by the side of a pond. The flower still bends its beautiful head over the water to look at the reflection of its own face in the water's surface. So, Echo and Narcissus. Go back to this previous slide before, and this is where you guys can either use Echo or you can use Narcissus to put in the red dot in the middle, and then you guys can use the text to write down, if you use Echo, what were some of the things Echo was feeling? What were some of the actions, the things that Echo did? What were some of the things that Echo said? What were some of the thoughts that Echo had? For you to kind of figure out what type of character, the motivations of Echo. All right, guys, on the very last slide, Mythology Incorporated. So Miss Nunn incorporated the slide, and as you guys can see, there's a note there, I think, on the side, where Miss Nunn, I think, had taught her kids about this slide. So they had done, sometimes you see when somebody needs to hire somebody for a job, they'll put out a wanted ad, a job ad. And so it'll have the job title, the job description, what the requirements of this job, and it'll have like a little saying, a help wanted ad, okay, with the job title, the description, and the requirements. So you guys are going to take a character from one of the previous stories. And if you guys want to do this more than once, you can. So it can either be Echo, it could be Narcissus, or it could be, what was the other one's name? Was it Midas? King Midas, I think. So you can use any of those characters, and you have to think of like a job description. Okay, so what's the job title? So maybe I need my job. I'm looking for a good king. Okay, so my job description, my character traits would be like, and that's where you're going to put the traits of that person. Okay, how they were in the story. So whatever traits you said from this previous, this previous traits. Were they adventurous? Were they bossy? Were they careless? Were they charming? Were they cheerful? You will put that in the job description, the character traits. So then you will give the requirements. What does this person need to be able to do? Well, they need to be able to be like caring for the people. They need to blah, blah, blah. Then you're going to write your help wanted ad. And this is where you're going to say, okay, so I'm going to make something up. Let's say I'm in search of let's say mine is a bodyguard. My job description, my character traits for that bodyguard is brave, strong, and selfless. My requirements is they can protect me from the crazy students that are attacking me during distance learning and protect me, okay? So here's where I would write my help wanted ad, okay? Teacher in need of a bodyguard. My bodyguard has to be brave to be able to fight off the crazy students. My bodyguard has to be strong to make sure they can keep the group of students away from me. And my bodyguard has to be selfless so that they will put themselves in front of me against those crazy, grueling students. Something kind of like that. I mean, I could come up with a better one if I sat down and thought about it for a minute, but this is just something I'm coming off with on this. But so you're going to use one of the characters, Echo, Midas, or Narcissus, and you're going to come up with your own help wanted ad. Guys, no grades are being given. Have fun with this. Stop taking your work so seriously, okay? Have fun. We're getting lots of questions about, did I do this right? Am I blah, blah? Guys, start thinking of this distance learning as we're having fun learning, okay? Have fun. Let's see. If you guys have any questions, reach out to Miss Nunn, Miss Reagan, Miss Pierre, or myself, Miss Gonzalez, whoever your teacher is. Reach out and ask us questions. But all in all, have fun, okay? All right, boys and girls, have a great day. Talk to you guys later.